Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the Mo Money Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Morehouse. Thank you so much for joining me, and for all of you listening in real time, Happy New Year. It is 2016. Super pumped for the new year. I've got a lot of stuff on the go, including me switching my brand name from Mo Money Mo Houses to just Jessica Morehouse. Easy peasy. The new website is jessicamorehouse.com. Another project that I'm super excited to be part of this new year is I'm doing this really awesome finance and fitness program called the Rich and Fit 21-Day Challenge with my friend, fitness coach, and champion bodybuilder, Jaclyn Phillips. So if you want to get fit and rich, you want to, tackle some of your financial problems and also tackle your health, this is an awesome and free way to do it. All you have to do is check out either my blog or Jaclyn's website, jaclynphillips.com, or just go right to the registration page, richandfitchallenge.com. Another awesome thing about this program is we're giving away prizes. So if you want to not only get rich and fit, but you also want a chance to win $1,500 from Wealthsimple, a $250 gift card from Lowest Rates, half a year supply of protein powder from Cygen, or an awesome fitness outfit from Ripped Angel, make sure to subscribe to sign up and join us for this awesome program. You will not regret it. Though you will regret if you don't sign up in time, because registration closes Friday, January 8th. With all that said, of course, my first guest of 2016 is Jaclyn Phillips. I'm very excited to talk to her because not only is, she a fitness coach as a side hustle, she makes extra money on top of her full-time job by doing this, but I didn't realize before talking to her how expensive it actually is to become a bodybuilder. But because she's kind of like me, she finds lots of fun ways to cut back and do things herself to cut down on costs. So we're going to get into all of that coming up. Okay, so Jackie, let's kind of go, rewind. And how did you get into fitness as like a whole kind of lifestyle thing? And, you're not just a fitness coach, you're like a champion bodybuilder and amazing lady. So how did this all kind of start for you?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up playing sports. Mm-hmm. I've played sports my whole life. I think the very first activity my parents ever put me in was gymnastics. Mm-hmm. And I think I was 3 years old. So pretty much ever since then, I've been active. I've played sports both in and out of school, and have tried pretty much every sport you can think of, from judo to diving to everything.
Those are very different.
Yeah, so growing up, I was very lucky. My parents let me kind of try whatever
everything,
I wanted.
Yeah.
I always had to finish out the season, but I was able to try lots of different sports and activities. So really, I've been active my whole life. When I went away to university, mm-hmm. I was lucky enough to play varsity sports at my university. That helped me really establish.
Like what kind of sports?
So in my first year at St. FX, I played rugby.
I used to play rugby in high school.
Did you?
I know.
Okay, so
surprising.
No, not surprising at all, because
Really?
I had the same experience. I played rugby in high school, and then I went off to university, and I was like, yeah, I can do this.
I couldn't.
No, varsity rugby was a little.
They're giants.
Yeah.
Like they literally would have.
And St. FX won the nationals the year before
I
went.
Gosh.
So I was totally out of my league. But I played rugby my first year. I played volleyball my second year. Mm-hmm. And volleyball, again, I wasn't great at that. So
you're tall,
I ended up.
So
That's what they all thought, right? It's like, oh, you're tall and athletic, like you can do this.
Yeah.
Turns out you need to have some sort of coordination.
Oh, fair enough.
So I ended up doing track and field in my last 2
mm-hmm.
years. And that I really found my niche with track and field. Mm-hmm. Like I said, turns out I can run fast and jump high, but that's pretty much it. So I was lucky to kind of establish really great habits and balance in my life between my academic career.
Yeah, that seems like that's hard to do as a student that, is studying, and then you also have all the sports and...
They being a student athlete taught me probably more than I learned in real school. In classes.
No, fair enough.
I learned a lot about time management,
mm-hmm.
prioritizing, just generally figuring out how to balance two elements of my life. So, and after university, I was so used to that, having that schedule and that routine and that balance, that I found I really needed some sort of something competitive to work toward.
Right. So you weren't just going to be happy just going to the gym and
that's right.
be like, oh, I'm doing this.
That's right. No, something. I really needed. I know for me, I needed to figure out. I needed the motivation.
Yeah.
By establishing, a certain event and date that I need to be ready for, and I have found that works for me. Now, and that's how I do all of my fitness goals, by establishing an event or setting a date or an event that I have to be ready for, and that's what keeps me going and motivated.
Yeah. So when did you kind of first get into the? Is it bodybuilding, or what do you call it, to go to those competitions where you're just like, look at all my muscles?
So there's a couple different associations when it comes to fitness or physique shows.
Physique shows. Okay.
Yeah. So the association I compete in is the IFBB, which is the International Federation of Bodybuilding.
Oh, okay.
And bodybuilding is both the general term they use for the whole sport, but it's also a class within the sport. So there's a couple different classes, and they all differ in terms of kind of what the ideal physique is within each of those classes. I compete in bikini, which is the least muscular class.
Okay.
And the reason I compete in that class is because it's best suited to my body.
Right.
I don't have to gain a whole lot of muscle.
What's the class above that where the girls are just like crazy?
So there's bikini, figure. That's
Okay.
a little, and even above that is physique. And then above that is bodybuilding.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there's lots of, they get, yeah.
They get big.
They get big.
Yeah.
Like I really have a lot of admiration and respect for those women that can do that. But for me, it's at this point in my life, bikini is that class is the best suited to my lifestyle and my shape and body and everything.
For sure.
So yeah, it definitely keeps me motivated and keeps me going. And
so did you start that after university, or?
Yeah, so I actually didn't. The first time I stepped on stage for a fitness competition was November 2013. So I had been out of school for actually just a few months. I was out of school, and I was really, at the time, I was really kind of lacking motivation, and I didn't want to go to the gym, and I wasn't, I was just finding it hard to, generally in life, I wasn't that happy. I was working at a law firm, and I didn't really have a lot of balance in my life.
Yeah.
So I was working out at the gym, and someone asked, are you training for the fitness competition? I said, what's a fitness competition?
Yeah.
And that was 2 months before the November 2013 show.
2 months?
Yeah.
So you had 2 months to get ready for that show?
I think, it might have been 3 months. Yeah, it might have been 12 weeks. I took and got ready for the show, and I ended up winning my class in that show, and
wow.
I was
beginner's luck a little.
I think it was a little bit of beginner's luck, but I think it's. I've always said about shows, it doesn't really matter. You can work your ass off, but it's really about who shows up that day.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So, it's you can't really judge how you're going to do in the shows.
How do they judge? So that's what I don't understand. It's like, if everyone looks so good, how do they know who's the best?
It's a ranking system.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not, I think that's, actually, I'm really glad I get to talk about this, because I feel like a lot of people don't know
I don't know.
how these are judged. So they're ranked, the competitors are ranked. So you're literally ranked 1 through 15, or it generally only goes up to 15 in each class, because it's really hard to do the ranking, obviously, for the judges. But you're ranked from one onward. So the lower your points, the better the score.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they add up there's anywhere from 5 to 10 judges, and they add up the scores, and then they actually subtract the highest and lowest score. So they take an average, or I guess a mean of the scores, and that's how it's judged. Yeah, it's really difficult to judge the shows though, like especially when the caliber of athletes is really high.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of they all look the same. So it's like
how do you
know which it can be, you know, a lot of people think it's political and it's, you know, it is what it is. So I just go in, try to manage my expectations. Every show I go in, you know, with an open mind. I try not to, you know, set too many expectations and, you know, too many things like that. But yeah, you know, you set goals like, you know, I can come in at this body fat percentage and stuff like that. But to me, it doesn't really make sense to set a goal like, oh, I'm going to come top 5 when you don't know who else might be competing that day. So,
yeah.
So it's all about expectation management.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you were doing these competitions, and then eventually this kind of spun off into like, hey, I could actually probably do this as a side business to, you know, make some extra cash while I work full time and get some exposure and all that kind of stuff.
So I ended up doing my first competition in the same year that I started working in business development, legal business development. So I had when I first competed, I had no intentions of kind of making it a thing or even a regular thing. I didn't even know if I wanted to do another one. Yeah. But I at the time I knew I needed the balance. Yeah. I did my first competition. I did a second competition. And by the third competition, I kind of noticed how other competitors would come up to me for advice, or people would reach out to me for fitness advice. I also, you know, I started getting offers from photographers to do shoots and stuff like that. And I started, you know, becoming kind of a side like a thing. Yeah. So I went and got my my personal trainer certification, and I've pretty much just been collecting certifications since then as my side gig. It's kind of blossomed into a really great side gig. Yeah. And it's the best part about it is that I don't really have to do too much marketing or anything.
It's all kind of word of mouth.
Doing the shows are, you know, my own marketing, and people reach out to me now, and it's become a really great source of income on the side. Yeah. So,
and I know we talked, you know, kind of offline about this. There's lots of ways where you find ways to save money while you do the competitions. Because I didn't realize how it's expensive they actually are. Like, I had no clue. I thought you just kind of got that stuff for free. But no.
So the competition world can be very expensive. Yeah. It can cost upwards of $2,000 after all said and done. $3,000 if you're paying for a personal trainer. It can get really, really expensive. So by, training myself and going with just programmers, I save a lot of money that way. Mm-hmm. But I also save a lot of money on show day by doing my own hair and makeup and nails. Mm-hmm. So a lot of girls see competitions as kind of like a spa treatment day and stuff like that. I don't really look at it like that. Yeah. I look at it as more of a competition. Yeah. I don't really do it to kind of pamper myself. So
you think more like the business side of things,
I do it as a business, right? So exactly. I'm not going to invest $3,000 into a show if I'm not going to get at least that much back. Yeah. So I save upwards of $1,000 every show by doing my own hair, makeup, and nails. If I could do my own tan, I would. But I don't think I'd be very good at that. So, so there's lots of ways to save money when you compete. It doesn't have to be super expensive. I've competed in 8 shows, but I've only I've only bought 3 different suits. Mm-hmm. So, you can wear the same suit again. A lot of people think you have to buy a new suit every show.
But it's like it depends on like if the judges care. They don't care.
The judges don't care.
Right?
The judges don't care. So little things like that, and getting your jewelry. You don't have to buy like Swarovski crystal jewelry, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just buy some
like again,
jewelry.
the judges don't care.
Yeah,
the judges don't know where your fake diamonds are from. So it doesn't matter. So
and is there so I guess part of the reason you do the competition is obviously exposure for you, for your personal brand, to grow your business. The other side of it is there is like some prizes.
Yeah, so you can, once you go pro, in the there's some prizes in the amateur leagues. Yeah, like it depends what shows you do. You know, if you win the overall, you can win $1,000 here and there. When you go pro, there is some money to be won if you win the shows. However, it's not really a good source of income to depend on winning shows. So what most competitors do, especially in the pro leagues, is get sponsors.
Right.
So even in the amateur division, it's kind of necessary to have the sponsors to kind of supplement your training needs, and so you don't have to pay up the yin yang for supplements and nutrition. You know, if you like myself, you have a sponsor who provides the supplements and vitamins that you need to kind of get through your training.
And we were also talking a while ago about how I was wondering, because there's so many fitness people on Instagram, like that seems like, you know, that's like the cool thing to do, is to take the, you know, workout selfies and everything. But some of these people are actually making money off that. Yeah.
So the fitness industry is so funny. It's so easy and so hard at the same time. Yeah.
There's a lot of competition, I guess, right? There's a lot of
it. The market is incredibly saturated, like so oversaturated. And a lot of that comes from not having proper regulation in the industry.
Right. Okay.
So, you know, you have a lot of people that kind of start out or do, you know, get into personal training or get into these shows and then immediately become a coach, you know.
And you're like, do you have that much experience?
Right. So and that's why I have been so slow kind of in developing my business and my skills and my education and knowledge around you know, exercise and nutrition, is because I do want to make sure that I'm not lumping myself in with, you know, the half-assers.
Yeah,
you know?
You want to
I don't want to take the shortcuts. No. I want to make sure that I'm fully informed and, you know, continually educating myself. But you're right. Like I said, it is, on the other hand, it's really simple to kind of develop a business by using social media, because that is the primary business tool for the fitness industry, especially for online coaching. Yeah. Social media kind of rules the game. So the more followers you have, the more you can leverage those followers to get more money from your sponsors, to get, you know, more sponsorships, also to get more clients, because, you know, as you know, the market and consumers oftentimes are, you know, don't exercise their caution when they hire a trainer, and you know, they see someone with 100,000 followers and they're like, they must be legit, good, right? So yeah, it can be easy. It can be, you know, you can leverage the social media on one hand, but you also have to be careful on the other hand to make sure, you know, you keep your integrity and maintain good business practices.
Absolutely. So, but I think you've got a good head on your shoulders, and you've got a pretty good business. Like you say, you're pretty busy, and
so it's become, it's, you know, what started out as
just kind of an idea, right?
What started out kind of just as like a side gig, you know, for fun. It still is fun, and I still consider it that way. Like I still look at it as like my fun side gig, but it's kind of grown organically and naturally on its own, just from doing the competitions and you know, and educating myself and kind of speaking out on certain you know, certain topics and stuff. It's grown pretty organically, so I'm lucky.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see where it all goes. And of course, it goes into our Rich and Fit 21-day challenge program. What? I know. Self-promo, but still. I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited for everyone to see the program we've created together.
Yeah, me too. It's awesome. There's nothing like it.
There isn't nothing like that. And it's, and it wasn't just me being like, oh, I really wish Jackie would just train me for free.
That's secretly all of this for what this is.
But I think it's a really cool way to explore just to, our different audiences. You've got, fitness audience. I've got a personal finance audience, just how they're not mutually exclusive. I'd say, for me, I've always wanted to be more healthy and fit. And I always sometimes will work out aggressively for 2 months and then stop for 2 months. And then you kind of undo all the work that you did. So I think this is kind of a cool way to kind of do both and just have that kind of perfect balance.
I know. And like you were saying, a lot of the same concepts apply kind of to both industries and both both areas. So I'm really excited for it. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Woo. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure to check out Jaclyn on her website,
JaclynPhillips.com.
Easy to remember. So make sure to check out Jackie. She's also on Instagram. It's super motivating. I like your Instagram because I'm like, all right, I gotta get off the couch and do something.
Move.
Productive.
Move.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 31 of the Mo Money podcast. If you want to read the show notes for this episode, make sure to go to jessicamorehouse.com/31 and make sure to check out my new website. It's pretty awesome. Spent kind of a lot of time on it and I'd love to know what you think. And of course, thank you again to Jaclyn Phillips for joining me on the program today. Also check out her website. She's got a ton of information about fitness and stuff like that on her website, which is awesome. Again, I'm going to plug our Rich and Fit challenge. I think it's a really awesome and free opportunity for you to get your finances and your physique in shape this new year. And thank you again to our prize sponsors, Wealth Simple, Lowest Rates, Saigen, and Ripped Angel. They're giving away some amazing prizes. So make sure to go to richandfitchallenge.com to find out more